telling me to take control of the vehicle. So it stopped again because I'm back in the lane, and it does it again, right? My hands are completely off the steering wheel. It's still managing this part. Now let's take a closer look at the design of the MG4. Now I just want to clarify, this is the MG4 Electric X version, right? There is a D version, which is the cheaper model, but this is the X version, the higher priced one. It's close to 960,000 baht in price. Now, as we look at the design, first of all, you see the huge MG logo. This is quite a big logo, you know. If I put my hand on that, you can see how big that is. Quite big, right? And then in the front, you've got this, it's hard to see in white color, but there's this dent on the inside as if it's a racing dent. And also to add in, this is the white color version, but the Electric X version actually comes with a color called the blue, like electrifying blue color, and that's a really beautiful looking color on the MG4. Must say, super highlight. If you like cars that look electrifying in blue, that is the color you want to go for. Now, of course, MG, I feel like, has done a really good job on the front end of this car, design of this car. I absolutely love the headlights that give this car so much character. You've got those LEDs over here, daylight running lights, and you've also got your, standard headlights over here. Come over here. What's really cool is this. I feel like it makes it look very futuristic. This effect right here. And the other aspect is the fact that the car also comes with this double trim. So you got white and you got black, fiber trim over here. Now, of course, this car's a little dirty because we've been driving this around for a while, enjoying the drive. But one good benefit, of course, is having the 360 view angle. Again, a function that's available only on the X model. Moving on to this side, of course, here first of all, you notice the fact that the overhang of the car is fairly short. So it's a short overhang, which makes the car a lot of fun to drive, I must say. And then coming over this way is the wheels. I'm not so sure why MG did this, but there's actually alloy wheels inside the car, but you can't really see it. So what you've got is this plastic cover on top. I'm not so sure why the alloy wheels have been covered up, but this is one of the sets that you get with the car itself, right? Then coming over to this side, you've got this black trim, right? This black trim going all the way down, making sure you're able to kind of protect part of the car as well in terms of this paint job. We've also got this lovely little worm right over here, showing how green this car is. This is an electric car at the end of the day. You've got two buttons on both sides. Of course, this is keyless entry, right? And when you lock the car, the side mirrors go in. When you press that again, side mirrors go out. Side mirrors also come with a camera right over here, and also the turning lights over here, right? Overall design flow is very nice. Coming all the way over to the very important part which differentiates this car from an internal combustion engine, of course, is right over here. We have got the amazing charging port. Now, this car comes with a 51 kilowatt battery, and with AC charging, this will take about 7 to 8 hours to charge this car. And by the way, if you're plugging it into DC, then you have to kind of also take this part out over here. And it says that with MG says that with DC charging, you can charge up to about 80% just within 30 minutes of time. That's really cool, right? And the other function is that they claim that this car can do 425 kilometers in a single charge. That's not bad, not bad. We don't know about reality yet. I think in reality you should be very easily able to get at least somewhere about 380 kilometers on a single charge. Let's put that aside. Coming onto the back of the car, I love the design of the back of the car too. Of course, the lights look really cool, and that same theme from the front is followed through over here. What's cool about the X version, once again, this is the X version, right? The top end version has got this rear spoiler over here. The butt end kind of sticks out. Remember, this is kind of like this is a hatchback. What's interesting is that it does not have rear wipers, right? There's no rear wiper here. So I guess it's designed in such a way that water just flows and then flows out of here. Then of course is just the back of the car. And of course the hatchback opens up. At this point is a good time to talk about the key of the MG4, right? It's standard key fob, but of course it's got one extra addition, which is the opening of the hatch. So let's take a look at that hatch, right? I'm gonna pop that hatch over there. It's an electric hatch. Ooh, very cool, right? And of course empty space, and of course right over here I've laid this out over here for you guys. This is the charging cable for the MG4. This can go into your standard charging into your house anywhere, right? And you can, of course, you've got the charging station over here, and you've got your CCV Type 2 charging plug right here, right? So this might take a lot longer. I did plug this into a standard charging, just into a standard plug point in a house up country all the way in Kanchanaburi, and it did take about 14 hours just to charge from 50% to 95%. So it does take some time. Another, of course, cool function is that as you look to the back, you realize the fact that the backs, the seats do kind of fall flat, right? So they do go pretty flat in there, right? So it's not super flat, but like you can put quite a bit of stuff if you remove this little piece over here, right? And just underneath here, maybe good to show, is that we've got just a bit more space to put things in. This is of course the extra bit. We've got this over here, and you can see that over here you've got a bit of extra space, and you got of course for in case you wanna fill up air in the tire. So basically your spare tire kit is in here, refill, all that is over here. You've got a little bit of a cubby hole on this side, small little cubby holes on both sides just to put extra things in, right? And of course when you want the hatch to go down, you just press the button there. All right. Now, one interesting thing that you'll see in the car is, of course, it's the MG4 Electric, and the word electric is written in green. I really like that. It has that really cool green, earth-friendly effect. And of course, then is the other Brit Dynamic. Remember, MG or Moist Garages is originally a British band, right? So Brit Dynamic is about the dynamics of this vehicle. So let's take this car for a drive and show you and explain to you what it feels like to drive an electric car. Now, before getting into dynamics, we have to talk about the interior of this car. This is an electric car after all, and possibly the coolest thing that really sticks out is the steering wheel. Notice the fact that it's only 2-spoke and it's not straight. It's like this rectangular-ish kind of design, right? And of course the steering wheel itself has a whole bunch of controls on it. On this side you have control systems for vehicle and cruise control and things like that. You can speak to the car. On this side you've got the media control, and you've got control of what's actually happening on this screen. There's 2 screens primarily. This is a 7-inch screen that acts as your dashboard, and then you've got your main big screen that's over here. This is about 10.2 inches, right? And then possibly the coolest thing is this right here. This is the automatic gear knob, right? What's really cool is that the P is in the middle, as you can see it here, and then you've got your reverse and N and D, and you do that by just turning this way and this way, right? Just like you turn that way and that way. That's how you engage PR and D. You've got your electric brake system over here, And then what's cool about the MG4 Electric X version is that you also get a wireless charging station right here. So I can put my mobile phone right here and voila, it charges my mobile phone. Wireless charging right here. Other functions include the fact that you have a Type A and a Type C plug-in port right here. The air conditioning vents are kind of well hidden into the system. There's an overall very nice smooth feel. Must actually say that the feeling of the door when you open and close it, it's got that very solid thud to it. It's not a clunk, but really, so it kind of has that well-built feeling. And coming back into the steering wheel itself, you've got your indicator on the left side, right? And you've got your wiper controls on the right side. This car obviously has automatic lighting system, right? Also it also has a very cool auto high beam system in which the car will turn on high beams when it detects no cars. Remember, this has got a 360 view. Now I'm looking over here. This is a 360 view camera. So it means the camera looking forward and actually not just giving you a view, it actually does monitor things. So when it detects that there's no oncoming cars, it'll go into high beam. So that's a really cool function of the auto high beam function. Besides that, of course, there's tons of stuff to play with over here. You've got your main battery charge system. It tells you there's 76% charge in the car, and it gives you 318 kilometers of range. You can have your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. You go into the home function over here, and one of the things I realized is that this screen, I'm not sure if that's because it's got the screen protector on it, but it's a little hard to use sometimes, tends to get a little stuck. But let's swipe this over and a whole bunch of functions will turn up. You've got your air conditioning function, of course, right? And you can set your air conditioning to be automatic. What's really cool is that this car even comes with a PM 2.5 air filter. Now, if you're driving around Southeast Asian cities, this car was picked up from Bangkok. Definitely good to have a PM 2.5 filter. It can get pretty bad air quality in Bangkok City. So that's one function. The other, of course, you got your phone function, you've got your vehicle function, which is really cool. It's got, the main thing is the drive modes. You've got snow, eco, normal, sport, and custom. Now, before we drive off, I also want to point out that the Electric X version comes with these orange strips and these very cool seats, buckety seats, that makes it really make sure that you're held in place as you bump it. Now that Brit dynamic suspension definitely has worked, because this electric car feels really good to drive. It handles really well. If you convert it from the electric motor, this has got 170 brake horsepower. It's got 250 Newton meters of torque, and as I mentioned, it's got 425 kilometers of range. Once again, that's what the producer claims. The car does accelerate really fast. The numbers given for acceleration are 0 to 100 in 7.7 seconds, which is, I would say, for a car that you're paying only 960,000 baht for, that's pretty impressive. And it kind of takes off almost like an aeroplane. Like, for those of you who have not driven an electric car, just that feeling of being in a spaceship, the feeling is just really cool, right? It has that, it feels like you're taking off almost, right? And then you see the speedometer going up really fast as well, right? Again, there's no needle, it's just a number that goes up there. And I must say that I'm actually also really liking the steering wheel. This is a really cool steering wheel. So as I said, 0 to 100 kilometers on this car is at 7.7 seconds. And again, remember that this has got a regenerative braking function. That means that if you let off the accelerator, the car actually immediately slows down. That can be kind of uncomfortable for some people, because it's not something you're used to, but it's really beneficial in terms of regenerating energy and making sure that you have more range. remember with electric cars, you can't help but have a little bit of range anxiety. I was driving this car from Bangkok to Kanchanaburi, and I was always worried, where is the next charging station, right? Because it's not like you can just go to the charging station and get everything done within like 5 minutes and leave. You really got to think about spending some time over there. So you got to plan out your trip a bit more. And as you're accelerating, there's a sign at the bottom right of this dashboard that says power, right? So amount of power that is being provided to the motor, and also as you let off it goes into a negative number as it is right now, and I can feel this kind of lurch right down this way, and it kind of collects all that energy and puts it back in the battery, right? So something that definitely needs some getting used to. So the front camera actually has quite a few functions. It actually tells you when vehicles are going right next to you, and there's a motorcycle in front. It'll actually show a motorcycle up in front of you. So that's the job of the front camera. And I'm just going to point out how the the driving assist system actually ensures that, and the lane assistance, and keeps you in the lane. So I'm going to let go of the steering wheel and get the car closer to the side, and you're going to see how the car actually corrects itself as it gets there. That's the car correcting itself, and it just gave me a little warning beep, right, telling me that, hey, you're getting a little too close over here. And there you go again. It just gave me another beep, and now it's telling me to take control of the vehicle. So it stopped again because I'm back in the lane, and it does it again, right? My hands are completely off the steering wheel. It's still managing this part, right? It does it again. It keeps doing that. And now I realize I'm not holding the steering wheel, and it will completely let go. It will start to beep, and you might end up off the road. So it'll do that for some time, and then after a while it will prevent that. It will just completely stop doing that, right? And the same thing happens for the right side as well. As I'm driving over here, left or right side, it makes sure it's in the lane. It can be a slightly uncomfortable feeling because if you're intentionally trying to go left or right, you'll notice the fact that the car forces you to go the other way, right? So if I'm trying to go in this way, you see the car's actually fighting my movement. The car assumes that I have lost attention on the road, and then forces the steering wheel this way again. But it is really useful for people who are maybe not as attentive when you're driving. So here we have it, the MG4 Electric. One of the cool functions that I did not talk about in this car is the V2L. What that means is vehicle to load. You can actually use this car to go camping if you want, and you can charge your electrical appliances off the car. That's such a cool function, right? Now, electrics are making it into everyday life now. Like until 5 years ago, electric cars were this kind of like this dreamy stuff that we talked about. But here it is now, right? And it is in the Thai market, and there's several producers who are producing vehicles and several options out there. The MG4 Electric at 969,000 baht is actually not that much of an expensive vehicle. But there's a few things to think about, right? Number one is your battery. Now, in about 6 to 7 years or 5 to 7 years, you've got to change out your battery. So that's going to be a bit of a cost. You will probably save more money when you are charging up the car, because if you're using electricity is somewhat cheaper in Thailand, so to charge your car, so therefore that's another thing. If you're producing your own electricity at home with solar power, that's a big thing, because then you save even more, right? Especially if you're charging during the daytime, so it's like off-peak hours as well, like, you know, there's so many things to consider, but definitely it is way cleaner to be driving an electric car. Now, of course, the question of where the battery is produced and how the battery is produced has a lot of questions about political unrest in different countries, but it's just so much nicer to drive without the smell of fumes. As much as a petrol head that I am, I really appreciate the fact that this electric car is so clean and quiet. Right? The MG4 Electric X at 969,000 baht, definitely a car worth considering, especially if there's so many other cars in the market that are petrol at that price. MG4 Electric X.